Hello, everybody. Give it a few minutes to let people log on. My daughters are in the mall here. They're doing their second round at another entrance, which I'm going to get into that too. And problems with what the government says and is doing, and what the reality here is right at West Edmonton Mall, Edmonton, Alberta, and how nothing makes sense as it's going on today in relation to our lockdown. So I see people are coming on now, and I want to have a serious talk here for those who just got on board with that letter that I was doing, or just kind of jumping into independence or crossing that threshold, because a lot of people got on board with something just in the last 2 weeks. And then, of course, they're the first to jump up and down and react badly to loss. And I'm going to explain something here. I've been at this for over 4 years straight. I'm not the first Albertan. I'm certainly not going to be the last. All of us who've attempted Alberta's independence or sovereignty, and when I say that, meaning getting out of Confederated Canada, have experienced an overwhelming majority of Canada and the international scene going against us. That's just been the reality inside this confederation right since 1867, and the colonial powers before that officially, and all the way up to World War II. And a lot of people think that, the world ended because things didn't go right yesterday. Well, guess what? That's about my 350th attempt on something to absolutely fail. And like I said, I'm not the first Albertan, I'm not the last. And lots lose. You go back to our Premier, William Aberhart, for Social Credit Party. He got his butt spanked just by Canada. Lieutenant Governor, Governor General, the highest level of courts, they literally spanked that man for many, many years. And he was the Premier of Alberta, in majority in power. They reigned ultimately for over 40 years. They continued to go forward, and they had a lot of successes, but a tremendous amount of failures. Tremendous. The list of their failures goes on and on because they couldn't get it done. This is always a fight that never ends, and I just had some Asian lady almost hit me here with her car, not watching. But sorry, I got spooked. But this is the reality here, is that everything we do, most of it's going to be met with instant failure, but we keep on going. A lot of longtime separatists, especially over this 4-year period, or even in history of separation, even recent present, 2001, before that in the 80s, where we did get an elected separatist. Nobody is stranger, especially Kessler and that whole group. Nobody is a stranger. Even if we do monumental things in 2023, there is still going to be an astronomical amount of opposition. Even if we do see power, even if we get a lot of things done, these fights are going to continue. Now, what I did yesterday with the UNSC is still absolutely monumental. That's the first time world powers and many UN states had Alberta in their hands, okay? Alberta's never been in their hands before. Did it go badly with USA? Sure it did. And why is that? Because just like a lot of people bum rushing to get on board, just in what I was doing over the last 2 weeks, they're absolutely strangers to this. We have Texas, USA, doing the exact same thing, and absolutely with elected officials. And they're swinging with literally a legal club. They're swinging a miss, smashing out windows. They're doing all kinds of things with absolutely no precedence in law. They're looking at it from their state position. They're not looking at the full spectrum of how the world really is. And they're going to find out what we had. Ultimately, you guys, Donald Trump, Kelly Craft had my letter. She clearly tagged Donald Trump in a post to get on board with this. He turned around, pulled her from the UNSC meeting. That's what happened. They chose to go sit in with Israel instead, outside the UNSC, which is absolutely her job, her position. Trump pulled her out. A secondary representative went in, a Biden supporter, and we got our butts spanked. And why did we get our butts spanked? Because they absolutely do not want Texas to succeed. And if Alberta was to get that recognition from the UNSC, what is that going to do for the state of Texas instantly, whether they realize it or not? Now, I tried to reach out to those senators. I tried to reach out to Ted Cruz. Nobody's gotten back to me at this point yet. I don't know if they will. I doubled Senator Kyle Bjorkman in reaching people on posts. And, of course, Donald Trump's now blocked me again now. I mean, he did it through his entire legitimate presidency here. But over the course of the Biden election, that was restored, and I was able to tag him. But as of the 21st, I was real busy with all of you, getting that letter ready. I spent the entire morning with the UN, with Africa, to make sure that went out. And during that time, Kyle Biderman, Alan West, legislators that are in Texas, Senate, Congress, and if there's others, there's another woman there too. And of course, Ted Cruz, they go out and they go into a media frenzy, which got literally 500,000 views, and it's Texans. So that sent the UNSC in a big panic. That day, that afternoon, now, Kelly Knightcraft was sitting in on the 21st. They all got that letter from me to be presented on the 22nd in proliferation. It was no accident. I used that sitting UNSC that would have to address Iran with Alberta's nuclear capabilities alongside Saskatchewan and Northwest Territories, along with Edmontonians who died in the plane crash. Yes, I used all of that, which Iran's posted about Canada, but they don't give any credence to Alberta, of course, because they don't want to. Everybody's trying to minimize Alberta because they don't want another Palestine right now. And USA doesn't want Texas following Alberta now, but we all just have to take a deep breath here. Over the holidays, nothing's done by a long shot. Like I said, this is my 300th failure, but with every failure, there's a learning curve. There's also more people knowing about it. More is getting out. We're watching what Texas is doing. They're getting a major block right now. Texas knows Trump ain't going forward. Ted Cruz has that figured. These senators and congressmen, they know what is happening, like I do too. They just don't know exactly how to go about succession properly. Now they're going to try and push through a bill here to have the referendum vote for all Texans, and I wish them well on that. I mean, that's a hell of a lot further than we're going to get in Alberta. Maybe it's enough, you guys, positively, to move the mountain called Jason Kenney, the Federalist. I doubt it. I doubt he will move. But this is really important because this is my field of work, and I work with the exact same American companies strong in Texas that are strong in Alberta. We've grown together, and in fact, it was an Alberta company that grew, and I'm not going to name them. I'm sure a lot of you can figure it out, but these grew into Texas giants too. And, this is really important that as we go forward, you're all going to see, mark my words, Illinois is going to have to address this major big deal too, because Alberta, Illinois, Texas are on the absolute chopping block for Joe Biden. Alberta's already been on that chopping block for 5 years. We're 5 years more oppressed economically than Texas and Illinois, who were relatively unscathed until the coronavirus. But for Alberta, that was just another icing on a big angel food cake that has already devastated us. And all the pigs at the trough have eaten that cake, and the crumbs are left, and we're all suffering. And Texas and Illinois are going to be finding out very, very fast. When I say that, I mean their state legislators. That's your Senate and your Congress of state. Nothing to do with the federal. These are all state. And I believe the mountain called Chicago that shouldn't be able to be moved, which I've studied extremely hard over the last couple of years. Far beyond Texas. I've left Texas relatively alone because we know where Texas is. They're very much like Alberta, but Illinois is a real big deal, and it's something that has to be moved, and I believe it will be, everybody. We're going to see two allies coming forward here, whether people understand that or not, but it's going to absolutely be Illinois and Texas. They're going to be along with Alberta as the Joe Biden goes forward. So there's a lot of positive coming in the new year. For every failure, which this one feels monumental and absolute, but it's just another niche, another thing that we have to go through, and nothing is the end-all and be-all ever. We have 5 new UNSC Security Council members coming forward. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table. We don't know what that's going to mean for Alberta independence, and maybe, just maybe, there's a way to reach the USA. I have another platform agenda that I can bring forward. There's many ways to play this game of chess, which is really what it is. And it's always thinking 20, 30 moves ahead, having a game strategy for all kinds of different outcomes. And I'm right here. I've been in it for 4 years, as of a lot of my loyal followers and friends. And all of you new people coming on board, you got to get tough. You got to get used to loss and failure, because that's the story of Alberta. Monumental, impossible, seemingly things come from the ability to absorb loss after loss. In boxing, it's hit after hit. When you're losing a fight and there's no hope in heck that you can win that fight, I was always 50-50, but you know what? For the beatings I could give, I could take just as good too. And it's in that time when everybody wrote you off, and they said it can't be done, this guy's done, and you come back and you connect, and it's lights out, game over. That's what this is. And I'm sorry, people who are used to always being winners, or have the delusion that if you don't win at every single stage of the game, oh, it's over and the big drama and I quit and fold up tent and I told you. It's never like that. That's not even close to real life. That's not politics. That's not geopolitical politics. And if you can't take the monumental amount of great losses, which are going to be 9-1 on independence, 9-1. That's my record so far, 9-1. And I still keep going, because for every 1 out of 10, when you nail it and you land that victory shot and you win that fight, you push Alberta independence that much more to the mainstream. More people than ever are coming on board each and every day, as faith in the establishment is clearly rocked. Both UCP, NDP, the federal level, people are starting to question. Things are changing. Now, is it going to be in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I don't know. I know it's absolutely critical for 2023, but we can't get there if we give up every time we hit a roadblock. This is just a point in time that can change a month from now, 6 months from now, each and every day. Snap of a finger, just like that. And you always have to be there, waiting for your opportunity, waiting to play out that particular part of a chess game, waiting for the direction to change, and making that move at the right time. And you know what? This was one of those times we made a move, and you know what? We lost a major a chess piece, seemingly now, but we're going to see if we get a pawn across the finish line and we get that piece back. Nothing's over till it's over. We can still get this done. Have faith. Exciting things are coming in the new year. I'm excited about. Can't get into detail about that right now. But there's a big positive here. Texas is making monumental movements. Soon to be Illinois. The USA isn't even realizing what Joe Biden's going to produce, because for every action, there most certainly is an equal and opposite reaction. And I promise you, Albertans, there are allies coming in the works. And as bad as things are that are coming forward, as destructive as that is, unfortunately, the reality of world is people need to suffer before they're capable of acting. It's reality. If it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to worry about it. Right now, 20% of Albertans easy are absolutely affected by the reality of our economy and where we're going. And that number is likely to double within just the first 6 months of a Joe Biden. That's reality. And you know what? With an Illinois and a Texas coming on board too, just you wait and see. This isn't over by a long shot. And the more federalism that gets in the way, it only leads to evolution, not revolution. And I have a whole nother game afoot that I haven't published yet, but I'm very, very ready for if that comes to pass. So just relax. Take these losses, learn from it. Don't go all excited and think that the world's going to end because today or yesterday didn't go your way, because literally in a few hours, it can snap of a finger, go 360 degrees the other way. You just never know. Now, I'm going to get really, really active in the new year. It's going to be even 3 times what I've already been doing now. Just bang, bang, bang. And you know what? It's my time again to kind of rise up and start throwing some flurries. My little sprint, over the next 6 months. And I do have faith that it's going to work out, because you know what? It does work out. In the last 4 years, it has worked out, and it's only grown and gotten better. So you know what? Don't quit. Don't give up. Merry Christmas. Nothing's over till it's over. And get tough, Albertans, because you got to be. Because if you can't handle a few losses or a few punches or a few knockdowns, you're never going to be a contender, and you're never going to get to that ultimate goal. Never will. There's no room for crying, whining, and giving up at the first, battle of the bulge, whatever you want to call it, because in war, and don't kid yourself, this is a war, economic, geopolitical, strategic, it's a war. And the sides are clearly, and the lines are clearly drawn. And if you give up at every lost battle, you're never ever going to see the end of the war. You're going to lose. You're going to be like an historic loser of World War II or World War I, which were ones that rolled over right away because they gave up at the first battle. And hands up, I quit, I submit. Winners never give up until the last man standing. That's it. And there's clearly more than ever rising up. So I'm not quitting, and I'm just getting started. Thanks, everybody. Share it out there. And like I said, just watch. Texas, nothing yet. Illinois next. And for all of you who saw my video right now, my girls are in the mall. There's nowhere to park in the mall. I'm on the edge of the mall parking right here outside because there's nowhere to park. And right now, flooded. There's no limits to how many people are mainstream. Absolutely tens of thousands probably of strangers walking through the mall, passing each other, passing by, no 6 foot radius. I shot a video at 11. If you look, the mall is just starting to pound up right now at 1. And I'm watching the cars go by, just looking for parking like any other day. That's okay, but churches, small businesses, your Christmas gatherings can't be, because you're going to overwhelm the system. But this isn't going to spread COVID if that's what you believe in. This isn't going to spread it like a massive, massive way, right? This is okay. None of it makes sense because it's all BS. There's a socialist, globalist reset happening. Many of you see it. You know it. Don't get screwed up into false narratives, false people leading you into other things. Yes, there's going to be patriots who champion the country. Great. Patriots in USA, great. But they're definitely not going to be friends of separatists. Not really. Not when it means breaking up the country or watching their patriots, which we watched in Texas. Most of the Trump supporting patriots from Texas all flooded into Texas succession. Cruz knows it. Ted Cruz. Biderman, Alan West, and there's another woman there, Congresswoman, I'm sorry, and she's a long-winded name, but there's many more realizing the reality. Trump's panicking too. He wants his federal USA, which, hey, that's cool under a President Trump, but it's not the reality under President Biden, and Americans are definitely going to be seeing that. Specifically, Texas knows damn well, and Illinois. That's going to be the big shocker over the next 6 months. When Illinois starts to feel the crunch, when they take line 5 out, and all of a sudden Chicago goes, uh-oh, our revenues are shot. Welcome to Alberta land. Now how does secession feel? And they actually do have secessionist movements and groups. Chicago utterly shot them down for the rural Illinois. But I think that tiger, which I'm more than studied, you can look at my 2-year history, more than front and center on that head is going to rear. It's going to rear. And you think Texas is something, you just watch for Illinois. That's coming. And with Alberta, we're a trifecta of industry here unto us, and we've made a major one. 1/10 of the GDP is those 3 states. 1/10 of the GDP, a massive energy GDP. So let's see what happens. Don't give up hope. There's power and strength and unity in numbers. I'm not going to give up on Texas. I'm going to reach out and all through the new year and keep trying to get audience with them, and I think I'll get it. You know, it's just a matter of time, like anything else I've ever done. Sometimes it takes months, even years. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Keep enjoying your Christmas. I know I am. Bye now.